Shalom, I'm Lisa Cohen, the Story Lady, and today we are going to do some stories from one of my favorite books called The Diamond Tree. It's a collection of Jewish folk tales from around the world. And our first one is called The Diamond Tree. Once upon a time, there was a man named Nisim who was very, very poor. He was so poor that the tiny hut that he and his family lived in didn't even have any water. To get water for himself and his family, Nisim had to walk many, many miles to the river. There, he would fill a barrel with water, lift it on his back, and carry that heavy barrel all the way home. And by the time he got there, the sky would be dark, and the poor, tired man would fall asleep. Now, one day, Nisim carried home a barrel of water as usual. But the next morning, when he went out to get the barrel, the water was gone. The barrel was empty. What could have happened to the water? He said to himself. He went back to the river, and he filled the barrel once more. But in the morning, when he looked into the barrel, again, not a drop of water was left. The same thing happened for 3 days in a row. 1, 2, 3, no water. And at last, Nisim became very angry. Enough of this! Tonight, I am going to hide in my barrel, and I am going to see who's stealing my water. So, it was that Nisim was inside the barrel at midnight when 2 eagles swooped down from the sky. They picked up that barrel in their huge claws. They flew a long distance while Nisim was just in the barrel, just shivering with fear. What if they should drop me from this great height, he thought. Finally, the barrel came to rest on the ground. Oh, thank God I'm safe, he thought. When the dizzy man peeked out, the first thing that he saw was the sea far below him. And then he looked up, and he saw a tree. But not just any tree. No, this tree's branches was filled with diamonds. Now, when the eagles saw a man peeking out of the barrel, they were quite surprised, and the eagles flew down to him. Nisim looked at the eagles and he said, "Please, please don't hurt me." "Oh, no, we won't. You see, we're not eagles at all. We're children. The witch who owns the diamond tree came to our land, and she kidnapped us. And then she cast a spell on all of us here." "There are other children here?" Nisim asked in amazement. "Oh, yes, many. You see, first the witch, she turns us into eagles, and she sends us far and wide and back and forth. Why, she asks us to fetch water for her tree. And then, when we grow too weak to carry the heavy barrels, she turns us into diamonds. We only want to be children again, and we want to go back to our mothers and fathers. Oh, won't you help us?" "Of course I will," said Nisim. "But where can I find that witch?" "Ha!" said the witch. "I'm right here." And Nisim looked up, and there, standing right in front of him, was a frightful, ugly witch. "Who are you, my dear man? A new eagle to bring water to my diamond tree?" Nisim knew that he must do something quickly, or he was going to get turned into an eagle too. "I don't believe you. I don't think you have the power to turn anyone into an eagle." "You are a fool! It's the easiest thing in the world." "Well, I won't believe it unless I see it with my own eyes. I'm sure that you can't turn these eagles back into children." "Ha! Ha ha ha! You just wait and see," said the witch, and she began to chant. "Eagles in the sky and diamonds in my tree. Whether you are eagles or children is up to me. Turn back to a child for as long as I say, whether for an hour or for a day." All at once, the 2 eagles became a boy and a girl. How happy they were to be children again. Now do you believe me?" asked the witch, pointing her crooked finger at Nisim. "Oh, not really. If you were a great witch, then you could also turn diamonds back into children." "Oh," said the witch, and she walked over to the tree. "Just you watch." She picked up the diamonds and chanted another spell. "Eagles in the sky and diamonds in the tree. Whether diamonds or children is up to me. Turn back to a child for as long as I say, whether for an hour or for a day." And lo and behold, a third child stood before him, astonished to be a girl again. "Now are you convinced?" sneered the witch, quite proud of herself. "Oh, not yet. Why, if your powers were really great, you could turn yourself into a diamond as well." "Then," said Nisim, "I would know that you are truly the most powerful witch in the world." Well, when the witch heard that, her eyes grew narrow, and she was ready for a challenge. "I'll show you." And she began to chant again. "Eagles in the sky and diamonds in a tree. To trick myself into a diamond is not difficult for me. I'll turn into a diamond to show you who I am, and then I'll finish you off, you foolish man." Suddenly, as Nisim watched, a new diamond appeared on the tree, far bigger than any of the others. But it wasn't like any of the other white diamonds. This diamond was blood red. Without waiting an instant, Nisim grabbed that big red diamond from the tree, and he threw it as far as he could out into the sea. And when the diamond struck the water, it burst into flames and disappeared. And at that same instant, all of the diamonds came down off the tree and turned back into children. How they cheered and hugged each other, and, well, of course they learned that the evil witch was dead. They thanked Nisim again and again. "Oh, just thank God you're safe," said he. Then one little girl looked at him sadly, and she said, "But how are we going to get home?" Nisim thought for a moment, and he said, "We're going to have to get home by ourselves." And he had an idea. "I think we should cut down the diamond tree and use it to build a boat." "Oh, yes, yes," said all the children. "We'll help you." And they found an axe for him to use, and Nisim chopped down the tree. And when the tree fell, guess what was inside? Inside was a treasure chest filled with diamonds that the witch had hidden there. But this time it was real diamonds. Nisim gave a big diamond to each of the children, and he kept one for himself. There were just the right number of diamonds to go around, oddly enough. Then he and the children built a fine boat from the trunk of that tree. And when the boat was ready, they all pushed and pulled down to the sea, and back they sailed to the shore of their land, singing happily all the way. And Nisim? Well, he saw to it that each and every child made it home safely. Then Nisim went back home too, and guess what he did? He kissed his wife and children. "Thank God you are safe," they said. He sold his diamond, and with some of the money, he built a new house with a fine, deep well beside it. And never again did Nisim have to carry water from the river. With some of the money, he helped build a new synagogue in the city, and the rest of the money he shared with those who were poor, as he had once been. And what of the children? Why, they came often to visit Nisim and his family, and they were all best of friends for a very long time. And of course, they lived happily ever after. The end.